Hey guys, Pan Michael here. Hope you're all doing well on this fine March day. Well, in the UK anyways, right now in London. Don't know what it's like where you are. I thought to make this video today to just give newcomers on YouTube or people who want to start a YouTube channel a few simple tips on how they can get going with filming on their phones. It might be that you don't have a more professional camera off the top. It might be you might prefer to just keep shooting on your phone, but more importantly, you want to get going and you have your phone. So here's sort of four tips that I can give you in order to improve your video skills. So the first one is going to be about the video side of things. So this course is on teaching you on iPhone, guys, but maybe there's similar things on Android, and you can probably figure that out very quickly. But on iPhone, there's two options you can use for filming yourself. There's video mode and there's cinematic mode. Now, video mode is just a bit normal. It's how it's always looked. The background won't be nice and soft like it is right now, and we'll look at that soon. So cinematic mode is almost like what portrait mode is to photos. It blurs the background out like this. So as you can see, the background is looking all nice and blurry, and it looks a bit more professional as far as I'm concerned, and that's what I like. So I would rather shoot in cinematic mode if I were you. It might be you don't like that, you might prefer to shoot in the normal video mode, no problem. But I personally prefer to shoot in the cinematic mode because it looks a bit more professional, right? So let's look at the normal video mode and see the difference. So if I stand here like this, there you go, we're now into video mode, and look at that. As you can see, there's a difference there, right? The background is no longer blurred. So it's kind of looking a bit more homemade, right, as opposed to more professional. So that's why personally, my first tip is use cinematic mode if you're doing selfie type of videos like this and you have a bit of a depth in your background. If you don't have depth in your background, then you might prefer to just shoot in this more normal mode because there's nothing that interesting in the background to blur out, or there's no need to blur it out really, and it might just be easier for the focus to do it like this. So let's switch back to cinematic. Okay, so we're back in cinematic now, and once again you can see the difference there. So there you go. So first tip is shoot in cinematic. It looks a bit more professional. If you're not shooting, by the way, this can work for objects as well. So if you want to get B-roll, so cutaways of something you're talking about, the iPhone will track your face when you're doing a selfie. But when it comes to objects, it might be that you have to press on them in order for the iPhone to track them. The second tip I'm going to give you is to do with sound. Sound is really important. It's forgiving to have bad image quality here or there, but it really isn't forgiving when you have bad sound. So if you have bad static, or if people can't hear you nice and clearly, and it's just not sounding very comfortable, you know, the way the sound is coming out to people when they're watching on their phones or at home, on their laptops or their TVs, wherever it is they might be watching you. We don't want to make the sound uncomfortable, okay, because they're just going to switch off, they're not going to be interested. So sound's important. Now, when you're first starting, it might be that you only have your phone, which means the microphone is on the phone. So the biggest tip I can give you there is that you try your best to stay as close to the phone as you can. I've got a lapel because that works for my normal cameras anyway, so I'm lucky in that sense that I already had one. But and I own a professional video company, and I've been doing it for years, obviously, so I've got gear like this available, but you might not have that available. So very, very important that the microphone is as close to you as possible, and because it's on the phone, that means the phone has got to be as close to you as possible. The further you are, the more echoey, the more kind of, you know, forced the sound is going to be, and you don't want that, right? So make sure that you are as close to the phone as you can be when you're recording. So selfies are great because because you need to hold it close to you, it kind of automatically gets you to be at a decent distance from the phone. So that's an amazing thing. But if you're filming at home and not like me right now, and I'm walking with it because I just felt like getting a bit of a walk from this as well, then I would say to you that you just keep these distances, or even half body distance is fine, but any further then the sound is going to start sounding it's just not going to be great. So make sure you're as close as possible. If you do have the budget for a wireless mic like this, a wireless system, or a lapel as it's known, then I would buy some from Amazon. There's some links in the description, you can check those out. There's some from £30 all the way to a few £100 or dollars, wherever you are. So it's up to you what you want to do. If you have the budget, I massively recommend it because it nicely and easily gets the sound about that far from me. I mean, this could have been a bit higher, whatever. If it's somewhere there, you're fine. It needs to be close to your mouth, basically, because that's where the sound is coming from. And then it allows the sound to be as punchy as possible. Okay, so get yourself a lapel if you have the budget. If you don't, stay as close to the phone as you can. And the third tip that I'm going to give you is about lighting. So lighting, you're either shooting outside externally, like external shots like I am today, because it's a lovely day, so I thought to come outside. So outside there's an abundance of light, and phones are actually really good with auto exposing the shot. So actually, if you have somewhere that has a decent backdrop, even go to a park or do a walk like I'm doing now, then you're good outside, you'll be fine. The only tip I would give there is make sure if it's sunny, the sun is not in your face, because you'll probably end up squinting or you're going to be looking a bit more serious and silly, so you don't want that. But yeah, if it's sort of like now when I'm actually shooting late afternoon, so the sun's going to be out, so it's a bit more diffused, it's a bit nicer. And also on a cloudy day, even though you might not have the nicest sky, you're going to have more diffused light, guys. So actually on a cloudy day, it might be more ideal to shoot because of the fact that the sun is not as harsh. It's not going to cause harsh shadows. It's all going to be, as you can see here, you can't even see a shadow anywhere on the floor, right? And that's nice. That means the light is more diffused and it's easier to work with. Yeah, so that's it for lighting. And then there's also shooting internally, so interiors, and it might be that a lot of you are shooting internally. So a couple of quick tips I can give there is... So here's the normal light coming from inside. As you can see, it's not amazing. Like, it could look worse, I guess, but it's not looking amazing. So if you're near the window, it's to your side, and you just, let's open that up. Suddenly, going to get a burst of light from outside, and look, suddenly you have a more three-dimensional kind of a look, because you've got half of me in the light, then half it's a bit darker, but it looks a bit more exposed, it looks a bit nicer. Or you can just turn yourself a bit more and look, suddenly my face kind of gets obviously a bit more lit, it looks a bit better. So be near windows, you will get much better exposure. And obviously also try open all of them. So if I open this one as well and I have a bit more light, suddenly everything just looks a bit nicer. But once again, look, side lighting, kind of, it's a bit more shadowy this side, a bit more light this side. And then as I turn the phone, you can kind of see that I suddenly look brighter, and it's actually a cloudy day today, so it's bringing in nice and diffused light, while if it was a sunny day and the sun was directly out of the window cast, it'll be a bit too much. But hopefully if it's not coming right through the window, then that would look pretty good too. But cloudy days usually give you a bit more control. So here is the difference an LED light can make, or even just a light that you can bounce off of a white ceiling, or a normal light that you can diffuse and things like that. If I switch it on, right, it took a second, but have a look at that. There's a massive difference there, and this is more how it's going to look if you're getting light from a window as well, right? It's going to look a bit nicer like this. So that's what you ideally want. It can be a bit distracting though, and it can be a bit uncomfortable, an LED light and a ring light. So you might even prefer to actually shoot near a window. Try your best not to shoot off of lights, house lights, because they can make things look really dull and not very nice. Once again though, phones are really good with automatic settings. So it could be that the ugly light is not as ugly. So that yellowy, it can be harsh, it can create silly shadows on your face, which you don't want. But it might be that the automated features on your phone, actually, it's not too bad. So if it's not, and you think what you see looks good enough, then go for it. But personally, I would be near a window, or maybe you have a kitchen and you've got one of those nice sliding big back door window things, and it's bringing in a lot of light. So sit in your kitchen next to on the island and do your video there, because that's bringing in a nice amount of light from your side, and it's making things look good. That's it for lighting, really. That's that tip. And then finally, it's a simple tip on your performance. Obviously, maybe you've never filmed yourself before, you're a bit nervous about all of that. The biggest tip I can give you there, guys, is just keep doing it. And at first you might sit down and start talking and you're feeling a bit weird, and it's just all surreal to you that you're filming yourself and you're trying to either educate people or entertain people. You'll get used to it. And don't allow yourself, you know, this is the psychology side of things, do not allow yourself to be put down because your first few takes might not be great, or your first few videos might not be great. You're only going to improve the more that you do these videos. So don't allow yourself to fall into that pit. Just keep doing them, and you will be just fine. And I guess a way that you can mitigate maybe having not as great a performance as you'd like is prepare your content beforehand. Trust me, prepping is really important. At least write some bullet points on the stages that your video is going to take, or note down the things that you need, because if you've got the sort of hassle of having to perform and you're thinking about that a bit and you're a bit shy and nervous, and then you've got to, almost tripped up there, that was nice. Yeah, so if you've got to think about the performance side of things and then you haven't planned things as well, you've got that on top to think about and to structure on the go while you're going. So always prepare your content, I would say, is another really good way to take some stress away from you and to let you concentrate on the performance. Okay, well, that was it, guys. I hope you enjoyed those tips. You know, and the biggest tip of them all is get going. You'll be fine. Keep doing videos. Content creation is awesome. YouTube is awesome. You'll find your rhythm as you go. You need to do loads of videos, especially if you're new at this and you've never done it before. Just keep doing it and you'll be just fine. And your real value, as long as your videos are pretty decent, your real value is gonna be in what you're actually saying to people and in whatever way you're educating them or entertaining them, right? So that's where the real value is gonna be. So as long as your videos are good enough, then you will gain some attention, you'll get those subscribers, you're gonna get those views, and then you can only improve from there, okay? Best of luck. I'm sure it'll be great. Keep going, hard work, and you'll be good. Thank you very much.